Most people think survival mode looks like panic attacks or burnout or obvious trauma. But the truth is, some of the most intelligent, self aware, doing all the work people I meet are still living in survival mode and they don't even realize it a lot of times. They're reading the books, they're listening to podcasts, they're journaling, they're meditating, they're learning about all their trauma, and yet their life still feels stuck. And if that's you, like you're not broken and you're definitely not alone. You're likely operating from a nervous system that learned survival first and safety second, or that learned to create these survival patterns to ensure safety in an unsafe environment. So today I'm going to walk you through 7 signs that you're still in survival mode, even if you maybe don't think that you are. Sign one is you overthink everything before taking action. See, survival mode trains your brain to scan for danger constantly. Before you make a decision, your mind tries to solve every possible outcome. What if this goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I look stupid? And it can feel responsible, but what's actually happening is your nervous system is trying to control uncertainty instead of allowing you to actually experience life. People out of survival mode can still think things through, but they don't require that certainty to move. Sign two, you keep learning, but nothing actually changes. And this one is extremely common because you know the concepts, you understand boundaries, you understand trauma responses, you understand nervous system regulation. But when real life happens, you react the same way that you always have. Why? Why do we do this? It's because survival mode loves information, but actual embodiment and alignment and trust requires practice in your body. And you don't get out of this nervous system mode by understanding patterns. You get out by retraining that system to experience safety and to experience pleasure and to experience joy while doing new things. Sign three, you feel exhausted even when you're doing everything right. Survival mode burns energy constantly. Your system is always scanning externally. Is this safe? Is that person upset? Am I doing this right? Did I say something wrong? It's like running a background app on your phone that never shuts off and drains your battery, right? Like when you leave your location services on or something. So even when your life looks calm, you still end up feeling exhausted and tired. And it's not because you're lazy. It's because your nervous system has been running this emergency software for years. Sign number 4 is you people please or you shape shift around others. And this is one of the most common survival adaptations I see because your nervous system learned that safety comes from being liked, being agreeable, being useful. And what that creates is someone that's highly perceptive. You can go into a room and you can read the room quickly. You adjust who you are depending on the environment. And while it can look like emotional intelligence, it often means you've learned to abandon parts of yourself to maintain safety. Sign 5 is that you procrastinate on things that actually matter. People in survival mode often procrastinate on the exact things that would actually move their lives forward. Starting the business, having the conversation, taking the opportunity. And it's not because they don't care. It's because expansion ends up feeling dangerous to a nervous system that learned that it had to dampen that expansion in order to survive in the environment it was brought up in. So your body interprets growth as risk and it leads to delays. Sign 6, your mind says you're safe, but you don't believe it. You don't really truly believe it in your body or in your system. And you can logically know that you're okay, right? You can have a job and a home and supportive people around you, and you can still feel tension in your body. It's shallow breathing, tight shoulders, constantly being on alert. And this is one of the biggest misunderstandings in this type of work. Safety is not just something that you think about, it's something your body learns through experience and through like relational experiences in particular. Sign 7, you think healing means endlessly processing the past, or you think that's a part of it. And this one surprises people a lot of times because understanding your past can be very helpful. But some approaches accidentally keep people stuck revisiting the same trauma and the same pain instead of actually building more capacity and helping move forward. So you can spend years analyzing childhood experiences and still feel trapped. Because the real shift out of this survival mode happens when you start practicing new ways of being present, when you start practicing ways to get yourself embodied and aligned. And here's the key, the thing most people miss: getting out of this type of survival isn't about fixing yourself. It's about coming back to who you are underneath all these programs. And it is teaching you something that isn't necessarily new, but that you haven't been in touch with for a long time. And that equates to safety. Well, speaking up, safety when you're trying things unfamiliar, safety and trust in being seen. And it's not perfectly, just gradually. So if you recognize yourself in some of these signs, you're not alone. A lot of intelligent, thoughtful people are walking around with nervous systems that learned this type of survival, these types of survival strategies early on. And the good news is that the body can learn something different. And when it does, your life can actually start to move again. And it's a different type of movement. It's not because you force it, but because your system finally feels safe enough to participate in it. And that's an entirely different thing. So if you resonated with this or the topics here, I discuss a lot of things like this on this channel. Please feel free to subscribe, leave me comments. I enjoy the feedback, and thank you guys for being here.